Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Conscious Reality Conversations with me, Rashmi, guiding you each week and talking you through with my hard hitting life experiences about spirituality, awakening, healing, food, fitness, consistency, discipline, grief, trauma, and pain, and how I got to be the person I am today and help you be exactly where you need to be. You can catch this podcast every Monday at 7 p.m. on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Hi, and welcome back. This week, let's talk about leveling up in life. This conversation is for anyone and everyone who just wants to simply level up or transcend in their life, especially if they are having constant distractions, specifically in this age and era we all live in. People who are all over the place. Just ensure that you're reflecting on how certain people are contributing or rather not contributing in your life and thus not internally creating roadblocks instead. So in today's episode, it is for everyone and anyone who wants to transcend, ascend, and level up in their life. This is not only to level up in your business, but actually also in relationship with others, yourself, or just in life as general. Well, I sat down and wrote all the tactics and pointers that I have used in my life, which will help me take things to the next level. And I'm forever looking at where I can actually level up in my life, because you see, that's also a constant journey, just not one time devotional and a dedicated act. You know how it is. It's a continuous hamster wheel or a roller coaster ride. Because I feel I just always want to be the best version of myself in all areas. Not just wanting to compromise or be complacent, but also want to say that I'm not perfect. It's always been like a try 80 and 20% are always slips. So my first strategy or a tactic to level up in life is all about deep inner work. Now, deep work is something I think about from a very aligned spiritual perspective. Like, let's take an example. What's my morning like? How am I using it to reconnect with myself after that deep sleep? Being fully awake in the moment, how am I different and a more upgraded, better version of myself than I was even yesterday? And honestly, it's that little mild conversation you have with yourself without putting any self-judgment or pressure attached to it. I also think, how much time do I have at one go without any distractions? So that's why I wake up early in the morning, because that time is my me time. How much of yourself do you know in a Zoom mode rather than a landscape one? The Zoom mode is understanding all the negatives, positives, and intricate details about what's going on in your life rather than just looking at yourself as from an objective perspective. And also it's about stepping away from your routine and the regularity of the day, taking full accountability about your health and mindset. I personally believe that it cannot be done with a bunch of people, but rather alone or just with maybe a close-knit friend. Like for example, me, when I need to plan, revise, and analyze my work content for future months and build a strategy around it, I completely stay off all electronics. Like I put them away for a couple of hours, like my phone, computer, and then I isolate myself for a few hours at a single go, because there are so many distractions anyways around us. Sometimes I work from a cafe, so that gives me more focus and clarity. And then I work on my plan, looking at my goals, my visions from a very granular perspective and a broader spectrum of my strategy in a Zoom mode. So you actually have to be incredibly thought out and step back away from that picture. And that's where deep work comes in. And that's been super insightful and helpful for me to build my community, my business, and focus more deeply on every major or micro aspect of it. And this can also be applied in relationship, friendship. Well, I do this thrice in a month or max twice. And I also apply this deep work in my personal life through meditations, like getting to it to figure out a solution for a problem rather than getting stuck with the problem. And also deep work is usually not on the phone or computer, but it's actually putting away all the electronics and focusing on the task at hand instead. Now, this second one is my personal favorite, and it's all about drawing boundaries. Boundaries around the content you're consuming, the people and energies you're meeting or interacting with. And this is so important because if you don't put boundaries around the content you're consuming or people you're meeting or even taking in solid shit from people around you, it's a never ending loop. You can endlessly keep scrolling social media all day long. Like, I have a friend who once told me, I only get on the social media like TikTok or, scroll my Instagram only when I am rewarding myself with a particular exercise, or maybe if I'm on a Stairmaster, or just last 10-15 minutes, I am rewarding myself with a run on a treadmill. And that's my ideology as well for the same. I really don't want to get sucked in social media hole. Although my entire work and coordinations and community services happen on and through the phone, but social media plays such a pivotal role in our lives that we don't realize that how much of our time and endless hours we are actually wasting on it. Also, very important that the kind of content consumption is something which I close attention to for that matter. If important to make a productive time out of Instagram is what I feel rather than just mindless scrolling. I'll supplement this with an example. Like, if there are some 5 or 10 accounts I like, I actually star them. And then when I'm scrolling, they pop up because their content is useful. I'm learning something out of it. Another hack is putting in all the social medias on mute, which to be honest, most of the time, 99% of the time, my phone is on mute because, I do so much deep work in terms of my business or the kind of community I'm building, that these distractions are just so waste of time. And all these notifications being turned off, it's such a relief that I finish my work and then I get back to where I have to and what I have to. So if you guys do follow a non-social media protocol, I would request you to start slipping into something which is more comfortable in terms of you getting back to the now. You would have more productive time to read, to build, and work on what gives you growth and expansion. You'll be more present. Just having a limitation around it will help you level up. And trust me on this. My third strategy is something I have been personally practicing for a few years, and that is that you actually can never be a forever student, which means, in short, it's all about awareness, learning, application, and execution. If you're waiting too much or for too long, the secret sauce to planning and working is actually in execution and not just practicing and thinking about what you want to do. I personally feel it's more lucrative to really put out yourself out there while you're learning. So I'm not saying that you need to stop being a forever student in general, but also don't let that stop you from executing what you're learning or what you are yearning for. For example, let's say when I was learning and studying about chakra healing, or even for that matter, herbology, for a very long period of time, I learned it more because I was executing that knowledge with my friends, family, so that, someone benefits out of it. Also, if someone tells me that, look, I've been working on this, and I'm like, why are you not executing it, or why are you not launching it? They actually revert by saying, well, I'm waiting, or I'm just hoping to get my degree on it, or this particular certification on it. And like when I was working for a multinational company, it actually sounds pretty silly though, but I was studying and executing through my psychic reading sessions. Well, you don't even need a degree for that matter to experience something so much which is firsthand, as I'm strongly of the school of thought that there is no better teacher than life itself. So guys, put yourself out there. If you have a certain knowledge about something while you're still learning it, people told me, oh, you should not do this, you should do that until you get your certification. And I revert back and I turn back and tell them that, look, life has taught me so much. My traumas have been such a good teacher that I actually need the certification just for bookish knowledge, nothing more, because life has been such a great teacher to me. So put your blinders on and don't give a piece of shit or freak to people or whatever they say. Just do what feels absolutely right for you. The next one is so important that I just couldn't miss mentioning it. It's all about not having toxic friends and family around you. So if you have toxic friends and family members, or maybe they're not even toxic, maybe they're just negative or jealous of you, or maybe they're telling you why you can't do what you do sometimes, you don't need these kind of people around you. But what do? They're your friends or, your family. You don't need to cut them out or you don't need to eliminate them. Instead, I feel you should just limit your exposure to them, and this requires boundaries, what we discussed in strategy 2, interpersonal or intrapersonal relationships. And how do you do this? Well, just ensure that whatever it is, there is an end to this interaction. Like, for example, if you have to meet a certain bunch of people, if you have to go out with them or party or just be a part of a family gathering, just ensure that you set up a meeting or something important so that you excuse yourself. You're not lying to someone, but you're genuinely busy, and you excuse yourself and move out of that environment. And that way you can, skip having that negative energy around you or carry it in your aura. You can also hang out with them in groups so that it diffuses the energy as a collective. We all got to realize that who we have in our life is either elevating our energy or who are the ones who are draining it. So there are in general only two types of people, one who look into the mirror and one who look out. I personally want to be around people who look out because I come from the same school of thought, which means how can you help others, lift them, build them, but not want to be around people who are constantly victimizing themselves and feel sorry for themselves. That in turn will suck your energy instead. The next one, which is personally a practice I've been doing for many, many years now, is all about meditation. So meditation is all about sitting in reflection with your identity, personality. Your personality is your personal reality, and having those my moments any time of the day, preferably in the morning or before you go to sleep. But this practice has helped me so much, having a daily strategy around my work, my friendships, and my relationships in general. Sitting in silence and analyzing how I want my life to go, how I want my present and future to be. Since I'm a meditation facilitator by profession, I always tell my clients constantly about the power of meditation. So it's not about having to stop your thoughts and having a blank slate like, oh, I'm not thinking, why are thoughts coming to my mind? Because when I'm in meditation, I'm never blank, but I'm constantly streaming amidst through meditation, increasing my focus, my mind power through positive thoughts about elevating and transcending to where I am and where I want to go. There is no fixed or underlined moment to meditate or any good or bad time. It could just be done while you're walking your dog, gardening, cooking, working out, just streamlining your thoughts and leveling up by default. Also, I feel writing your routines down and, crossing them once it's done is such a powerful subconscious exercise. I remember my father used to do this. He used to have a small pocket diary he carried with him wherever he went. And every single morning, he used to write this to-do list. So I once asked him, why do you write this? He said, because I may forget. We have more than 70,000 plus thoughts a day. But when I write it down, this small diary will remind me, and that will discipline my mind and my life. So once it's done, he used to cross it out, which means it's off his subconscious mind, he said. It's such a simple but such a powerful hack, and I do it. So thank you, Daddy, for this. So these are just a few minor but still major hacks to upgrade yourself and your mindset. So remember, the only person standing in your way most times is you. Level up because you are the only one who can do that. Rise, shine, and prosper in every walk of your life. Sending love and more power always. So until the next time, keep growing, shine, and levitate.